As part of today's special show, we're looking at hormones.
Just don't try anything you see here at home. It's Chris. Can I have a biscuit? I don't want one of your disgusting pocket digestives. Okay, fair enough. I'd like a custard cream. Well, I don't know where he keeps his custard creams. He hides them from me. They're on the desk in front of you. Oh, yeah, here they are. I've counted them. Can you write them down in the custard cream logbook so I can keep track? Chris, why are you sending me all these ridiculous text messages? I'm trying to work.
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, Xand. It's not just because I want those custard creams, although I do want them. You've written them in the logbook now. It's because today's lab is all about hormones, and like text, hormones are messages, but they're chemical ones sent around your body. You can't control them any more than Xand could control the number of texts I was sending him. You have hormones from the moment you're born, telling the different cells in your body what to do. Your pancreas makes the hormone insulin to control sugar levels in your blood.
And your adrenal glands produce the hormone adrenaline when you're excited or scared, preparing your body for immediate action. And then there's your pituitary gland in your brain. And to show you what that looks like, I've actually got a real sheep's brain in my hand. Now, the first thing you'll notice is it's much smaller than a human brain.
And that's probably why sheep are less intelligent than human beings.
Chris, there might be sheep watching.
It doesn't matter, they're sheep. They won't understand what I just said.
All right, well, I've cut it in half so you can see right here at the base of the brain is the pituitary gland.
Now take a look at this MRI scan of my actual brain. And there's my pituitary gland right there. Now, it may be small, but it has a big job to do because it's the pituitary gland that controls most of the hormones in your body.
But when you reach puberty, your hormones go into supercharge mode. They spring into action like never before, and they're responsible for all the changes that take place during puberty.
And one of these changes occurs in the voice box, the organ which allows you to speak.
And we're going to show you what it looks like.
Now, this is the larynx, or the voice box of a young pig. Your voice box is in your throat. It's the tough, rubbery bit here on your neck.
Now, I also have a pig's larynx, except that mine is bigger than Chris's, and that's because it's from an adult pig. Now, one of these two larynxes will have a deeper sound than the other, but which one do you think it's going to be?
The bellows are acting like your lungs, sending air past the vocal cords, which you can see here, and they make a sound when they vibrate.
Compare the sound of this smaller larynx to the sound of the larger one. Can you hear the sound of the larger one is deeper than the smaller one?
This change in sound is known as your voice breaking, and it happens to both boys and girls.
Now, when you go through puberty, those hormones controlled by your pituitary gland tell your larynx to grow bigger, and that makes your voice get deeper.
So, we've shown you that hormones are messages telling your body what to do. When you start puberty, your hormones become more active, telling you to grow into an adult.
And remember, hormones are what make your voice break, only nothing's breaking at all. Your larynx actually gets bigger, and that makes your voice deeper.
But whether you're a boy or a girl, don't panic, because it doesn't hurt at all.
It's all completely normal.
It's definitely more obvious for us boys because our larynxes grow more than girls, and so it pushes this bit out.
It's called your Adam's apple.
Ow, why don't you poke your own Adam's apple?
It's more fun poking yours.
Stop it, it's really annoying.
Really annoying, like sending somebody loads of text messages. Stop poking my Adam's apple. How did he do that?
Xand, what are you up to?
I'm a bit busy at the moment, Chris.
What are you busy with?
I'm trying to do 3D printing.
Xand, that's not how 3D printing works.
Well, how does it work if you're so clever, Mr. Smartypants?
Time for Investigation Ouch! Do this. Feel your own head. It's the easiest way of getting a sense of what your skull is like. But wouldn't it be better if you could actually see it. Well, today, I'm gonna do just that. I'm about to come face to face with my own skull. First up, an MRI scanner. It takes pictures of your body, including your tissue, blood vessels, organs, and most importantly today, my bones. The MRI takes thousands of images. It's almost like slicing the skull and taking a picture of each slice. On here, I've got loads of pictures of my head. And we're going to do something that until recently would have seemed like science fiction. That's right, I'm going to print my skull. This is a 3D printer. It's not like a normal printer with ink and paper. This prints things you can pick up and use. But one of the most amazing things it can do is print replacement body parts. And to prove it, I'm going to print an exact copy of my skull. My MRI scan images are sent to this printer, which then prints each slice of my skull as a thin layer of blue glue in this bed of powder until the complete skull is created. In charge of 3D printing at Nottingham University is Dr. Glenn Kirkham.
So that's your skull.
Now they've printed the skull in blue, just for me. It's very, very creepy, actually. If I do that, it's exactly like scratching my own head. He may not look a lot like me, but in fact, the shape of your skull enormously influences the way you look, because no two skulls are alike. Your skull is the only one of its kind in the world.
And did you know you have a hole in the back of your head as well?
That?
Yeah.
Is that just a glitch with the printer?
No, you have a little hole in the back of your head.
What's a bit odd is I can feel it with this finger on the printed skull, and I can feel exactly the same little hole with this finger on my real skull. That's not right. But 3D printing isn't just fun. It's got a real medical use. Scientists are now 3D printing more complex bits of the body. Even something that seems simple, like your nose, has a bony bit at the top and then soft tissue at the bottom. And the latest 3D printers can do both. Meet the mind-blowing, megatastic master of 3D printing. What makes this incredible piece of technology different to the one that printed my skull is that it not only prints hard bones using a special plastic and powder, it also prints soft tissue using a gel filled with live cells, which could become real working organs. But to do that, the printer needs to know which order to put the cells in. So, if you want to print a heart, then you need to get the billions of cells in your body into the right order to make a heart. And if you want to make a kidney, then all the cells need to be put in a different order. The way scientists do this is by moving the cells on a computer tablet.
This is our digital tweezer system. So this lets us grab individual cells and move them around wherever we want them to go.
So unbelievably, my finger is moving cells that are under a microscope in another building. That is awesome. The possibilities with 3D printing are limitless, even within your lifetime. It might be possible that if you damage a bit of your body, we can simply print you another one. Now, isn't that amazing?
I think I'd look better in green though, Chris.
Ready to see some amazing experiments?
Yes! A triumph!
We're going to show you how your incredible body works. Just don't try anything you see here at home. Today, the hero of breathing, your diaphragm.
Oh, mio bambino caro.
Oh, mio bambino caro.
What? What is going on?
Lucy, meet Dr. Chris. Dr. Chris, meet Lucy.
Xand, I know who Lucy is. We've already met.
Have you?
Yes. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Chris.
I saw her on The Voice, and it was me who asked her to come in.
Was it?
Yes, I thought Lucy could help us demonstrate the power of the diaphragm.
Oh, right.
Now, Lucy, could you give us another long note, please? Now, Lucy and other opera singers can hold a note this long because she's trained a special muscle, one which we all have, called the diaphragm.
Now, your diaphragm sits here at the bottom of your rib cage. Thank you.
Let's find out what the diaphragm looks like and how it works. Lucy?
We're going to show you
Thanks, Lucy.
Your diaphragm is the main muscle you use when you breathe, which is something we all do all the time.
Now, to show you what a diaphragm looks like, we've got a real one from a pig. Now, this is the pig's voice box. This is the trachea, or the windpipe. These bits are the lungs, and then underneath the lungs, in a big muscular sheet, that is the diaphragm.
You breathe in and out about 20 to 30,000 times a day, and it's this, the diaphragm, that makes it all happen.
So after your heart, it's the most important muscle in your body because it allows you to breathe. Now take a breath. Most people have no idea why the air moves into their lungs. Well, we're going to show you. Take this away, Chris. I've got a model. Now, the big bottle is your rib cage, and these things inside represent your lungs.
Xand, those aren't lungs, those are my party balloons.
We're using them for a very important scientific demonstration.
OK, well, I suppose if it's in the service of science.
Good. And this, at the bottom, is your diaphragm. Now, we tend to think that breathing is all about the lungs, but the diaphragm is the unsung hero of breathing. It's what makes it all happen, and that's why the diaphragm is such an important muscle.
Now, when you breathe in, the diaphragm pulls downwards. This lowers the pressure inside this chest cavity. This creates extra space, a vacuum, and air has no option but to rush in through your mouth and into your lungs to fill this space.
And then you breathe out again. Your lungs really are a bit like these balloons. They have no muscles at all. They're just like bags, really, and they don't do anything without the diaphragm.
It's pretty amazing. And to show you what your diaphragm looks like in action inside your body, here's mine. These big black areas are my lungs.
Or party balloons.
The pulsating bit in the middle is my heart, and down at the bottom, this is my diaphragm. Now, what you can see is my diaphragm here is contracted, and now it's relaxing, and as it relaxes, it rises up and forces air out of my lungs. As you then breathe in, the diaphragm contracts again, and just like the pink balloons, the lungs fill with air.
That is incredible.
So, we've shown you that your diaphragm is the real hero of breathing.
It's one of the most important muscles in the body, enabling you to take about 30,000 breaths a day. Chris, I really want to sing now, can I?
OK, Xand, since you love it so much, but hold on just 1 second. OK, Xand.
Mi piace bella.
And now to our lab for some amazing body experiments.
Ugh. Whoa. Just don't try anything you see here at home.
Today, we're getting to grips with your guts.
Xand, what's going on? It's snack time.
Snack time's cancelled, Chris, because I've laid a set of pig guts end to end all over the bench.
I can see that, Xand. The smell is terrible, but it does look amazing. Why have you done it?
I just wanted to see how long it all is, really. Your intestines are 8 to 9 metres long, but until you lay it out like this, it's hard to imagine.
It's amazing how it can all fit in your body without getting tangled. But Xand, if only we had another set of guts that you hadn't laid out, we could see that special part of your body that stops that tangling happening.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Chris, because I've always said that there's only one thing better than a set of pig guts, and that's 2 sets of guts.
I don't think you've ever said that before in your life. But it does look like this one does seem to have the mesentery.
Yes, the mesentery, the amazing bit of your body which stops your guts getting tangled and gives them blood and nutrients. And you can see it here. This white bit is the mesentery, and there are blood vessels running through it. And you can see it holds all the guts together.
Without the mesentery, your gut would have to be in a straight line from your mouth to your bum, and you'd be as tall as 2 double-decker buses.
That would be tall.
Your guts are split into 2 sections, the large intestine and the small intestine, which isn't that small at all.
This is the small intestine, and it runs all the way from here, around here, right down to there, and this is where the action takes place. And inside, it's covered in tiny finger-like projections called villi, and you can only see them under a microscope.
Villi have an important job to do. As the food moves along and touches them, the villi absorb every tiny little bit of nutrient, including fat, sugars, and proteins, into the wall of your intestines, passing it out into your blood for your body to use.
But there's one thing about intestines we haven't discussed, Chris, and that's...
Oh, Xand, what have you been eating? Farting is completely natural. It's just your body's way of getting rid of unwanted built-up gas, and everyone does it about 14 times a day. Doesn't matter if we're talking about your head teacher or the Queen herself. We all do it, and it's honestly not your fault.
He is actually right there. Inside your large intestines, there are millions of good bacteria that are there to help break down food.
And as they eat, they produce a mixture of gases, which is what makes you let rip.
This combination of gases is made up mainly of air, carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, and methane. And the methane contains a lot of energy, as we're about to show you.
And for this, I'm going to need a special piece of equipment, Chris's hand. Now this is a cylinder of methane, and I'm going to release 1 day's worth of farts.
This experiment is highly dangerous. We're in a controlled lab using specially manufactured gas. Don't even think about trying this yourself.
Get your hand wet. Now scoop up those bubbles. That's right. Hold them well away from you.
I don't like the look of this. Ah! Xand, that was amazing. So that's how much energy there is in a day's worth of farts.
Exactly. That's 1 day's worth of farts.
Well, you know what we have to do now?
A week's worth.
Precisely.
1 week's worth of farts. That's really good, isn't it? So we've done a day.
We've done a week.
Dare we do a month?
Yes, we do. Dare. Do it.
Here we go.
Ice it.
Wow!
That was amazing.
Wow!
So we've shown you just how incredible your intestines are and how much energy there is in your farts. Remember, when you let rip, it's an essential part of how your body gets rid of excess gas.
And now you know whose fault it is that you do them in the first place, those cheeky little gut bacteria. But if they weren't in our intestines, we'd end up with undigested food sitting in there forever. So there really is no reason to be ashamed of your...
And now to our lab for some amazing body experiments.
Ugh! Whoa! Just don't try anything you see here at home.
Today, it's your body's ticker, the heart. Xand is having a little lie down.
You could actually try this bit at home. It's quite nice.
But what you can't try at home is hooking Xand up to an electrocardiogram, which is what I've done. It's basically a heart monitor. And each one of these spikes on the display is a separate beat of the heart. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. Even if you're just lazing around like Xand, your heart never stops beating. It beats even when you're asleep. As Xand seems to be illustrating perfectly. You can see the spikes and his pulse is around 70. OK, Xand, demonstration over.
What? What? What demonstration? I've been awake the whole time.
Now, your heart was beating when you were a 6-week-old embryo inside your mum, just the size of a raisin.
Your heart is made up of millions of tiny cells, and each one of those cells beats on its own.
And here's one of them. This is a single heart cell. It just won't stop beating, even without its mates. Absolutely brilliant, isn't it, Xand? Xand? Xand!
What?
It's not nap time. Now, if you ask more of your body, say when you exercise...
Exercise?
Yes, Xand, exercise. Your heart will step up and help you out. Right, give me some nice big star jumps, please, Xand. When you exercise, your muscles need lots more blood and oxygen. To provide this, the heart speeds up. As you can see, Xand's heart rate is much higher now than when he was lying down. Even at rest, it beats around 100,000 times a day. So, you've seen how your heart beats at different rates depending on what you're doing. But how does your heart actually work? How does it get all that blood where you need it, when you need it? Well, we're going to show you.
Check this out. This is a real heart.
It's from a pig, but don't let that put you off. It's very similar to a human heart, and it's a pump with no equal.
Blood arrives in the heart all tired and out of oxygen.
The heart pumps it straight to the lungs, where it collects new oxygen.
Back at the heart, it's given a mega pump, which scoots it all around the body.
And there's no chance of it going the wrong way thanks to the heart's special valves.
And if you add up all the blood each of these beats pushes around the body, it comes to 7,200 litres a day. That's enough to fill 93 bathtubs.
We've only got one bathtub. And if you fill it with blood, where am I going to have my bath?
You need a bath. Now, to show you how it manages to do that, we're going to cut our pig's heart open.
Looking inside the heart is absolutely amazing.
The muscle here is very thick. This makes the heart really strong, and that's how it's able to pump blood right around your body.
But it couldn't do it without one important bit of the heart, the valves. And you can see them here. Their job is to make sure the blood goes in the right direction.
To see how the heart does its incredible job, we've set up our real heart, using plastic tubes as blood vessels and green water to do the job of your blood.
OK, Chris, lift your bucket up a little bit.
First, the heart fills with blood. It does this every time it beats.
Whoa, look at that.
Look at it fill. OK, and squeeze now.
Xand's hands are doing what the heart does by itself thousands of times a day.
And the heart is clever because
Everything's going into that bucket and nothing's going back into Chris's bucket. The heart only pumps blood in one direction.
and that's thanks to the valves, not to Harry Styles.
But there's one question that still remains.
How powerful is the heart and how far can it squirt blood?
I filled the heart. Now, you hold that bit. I'm going to get the bucket.
Give me that. Quick, quick, quick. Get the bucket.
OK. See if you can get it.
About a foot?
Yeah, about half a metre.
OK, go. Yay!
Not bad, but I think we can go further. Let's refill the heart.
OK, quick. Fill it up again.
But Xand's squeeze is not nearly as strong as a heartbeat.
Just aim it all in the bucket. Ready?
OK. 3, 2, 1.
Xand gets quite a lot beyond the bucket.
We just didn't get any in the bucket, but I still think that's pretty impressive. About 2.5 metres.
2.5 metres is pretty good, but a live heart actually beats powerfully enough to squirt blood more than 10 metres.
10 metres? That's more powerful than my best water pistol. Luckily, Xand's not 10 metres away.
Time now for the Ouch Awards. We asked you to nominate children who you feel are extraordinary medical heroes. The award categories are the 999 Award,
If you see me not waking up, call 999.
The Big Heart Award.
I like helping my mum because it means I didn't have to do everything.
the First Aid Award,
I knew I had to help, so I put her in the recovery position.
and the Personal Courage Award.
Believe in what you want to do and just never give up.
Let's meet the finalists for the 999 Award.
Up first,
Hi, I'm Jake.
I nominated my son Jake for an Ouch Award when he called 999 after I'd had an epileptic seizure.
Emergency ambulance, is the patient breathing?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Is there anyone else in the house with you?
No.
I felt shaking and blood was coming out of her mouth.
Just look at Mummy now. Is she still asleep?
Yeah.
All right, well done. I'm staying on the line with you, OK?
Okay.
It was a bit scary, but I knew if I answered all the questions clearly, then the ambulance will be here a lot faster.
I've had about 6 or 7 seizures since. Still trying to get medication sorted.
She just shakes and blood comes out of her mouth and foam, and she makes a weird sound.
I think I struggle in the situation Jake was in to stay calm, and so he's my little hero and I'm really proud of him.
who's next?
Hi, I'm Malak.
Malak has been nominated by the London Ambulance Service for a 999 award after her mum fell into a diabetic coma.
My mum was cleaning, then she felt a bit ill.
I'm diabetes type 1 because I feel dizzy and I want like sleep.
She told me, if you see me not waking up, call 999.
Emergency ambulance, is the patient breathing?
A little bit.
OK, are they awake?
No.
I remember how calm she was. I didn't have to repeat myself. She knew exactly what she was doing, and she knew exactly about the situation that she was in.
She has diabetes. So I'm getting you some help, but you need to stay on the phone with me because I'm going to tell you what to do next.
Then they told me to put her up chin and listen to her heartbeat.
I stayed on the line with her until the ambulance arrived. She remained calm, kept me updated all the way through the call.
I'm proud of her. And she saved my life. The little girl, she saved my life.
Next up, it's Oliver.
Hi, we're Oliver's friends, and we're nominating him for an Ouch Award.
Oliver saved his mum's life by calling 999.
I remember getting out of bed and saw my mum laying on the floor.
Ambulance service, is the patient conscious? Not really. Can you call her name and see if she talks to you? Mum? Mummy?
I was shaking. My mum wasn't speaking. It's quite scary.
Because he worked out that I needed to see an ambulance, and the hospital, they did lots of tests following that and found out there was a problem with the valve in my heart. And from that, 8 weeks ago, I had open heart surgery, which has transformed my life.
I think Oliver should get an Ouch Award because he was really brave when he called 999 and he saved his mum's life.
I learned to call 999 from Operation Ouch.
I'm incredibly grateful to Oliver forever.
Jake, Malik and Oliver are true medical heroes.
We'll be revealing the overall winner in our special Ouch Awards episode.